Hi everyone, welcome to the Damage Undone how-to video. And as promised, I'm going to be focusing on these abrasive foam pads. Now, in the last year, they've become really popular within our automotive industry. And these ones that I'm looking at today and I'm going to explain to you about are from PPM. They are sort of coming out into the market at the moment as I'm recording this. You may have seen them drip feed through, but there will be a lot more of them coming out soon. So what's the key benefits to these pads? And what do we need to know about them? Right, they've got abrasive on both sides. They come in different grades. So with the PPM pads, you've got, I call this the brown, the green, and the purple. The brown has a grit of 320 to 500, so that's quite a large spectrum. Especially when you're used to normally using any sort of other abrasive disc that's strictly 320 or 240. So this has a slightly larger window. The green goes from 600 to 1000, and the purple finishes it off with 1000 to 1500. So those are the pads. Now, where would you use these pads? I would use the brown on prepping your panel, ready for priming. That's a really good area to be using that, and I found that's been quite successful for me. The green I tend to use after I've primed, sand down my primer, ready for paint. And depending on the panel that you're working on or the color, you could pretty much, that could be your color to go to paint. I don't tend to use this a lot. This is more of a finer or your blend out area, but I really like the green for most of that. Now, as I said to you, these have a large range. So 320 to 500, 600 to 1000, 1000 to 1500. Now, how that's working, what's going on there is every time you're using these pads, you are wearing down the abrasiveness of it, which is why it can then go from being a really coarse abrasive, the 320, to a finer abrasive of 500. Once you get your head around that, they are really great pads and easy to use and understand. So what I'm going to show you today is I've done a couple of demos on this panel, and I'm going to show you what you can expect basically from each sanding block, the types of finishes. But I'm also going to give you a little demo on sanding it and how to get, I feel, the best finish from it. Because I know a couple of people who have used these and they say, oh, well, I can still see the scratch lines in there. Yes, they can. If you don't use them properly or you don't focus on your grades, you can. But it's just a little bit of know-how. That's all it is. Other than that, you will then come to love these pads. Really good for bumpers, or anywhere you've got sort of contours, shapes, stuff that you need the foam to sort of mold around and really get a good key in. They can be used both wet and dry. However, I would recommend you probably use them dry at first. And then when you're coming towards what you think might be the end of their life, add some water to it, use it wet, and you're going to get an even longer life out of these pads. So let's move on to sanding this and the best way to do it. What I've done here is I have just blocked it off with a bit of tape so I can give you two examples of a rough sand, how most of you would probably do it, and how I would recommend to do it. Now, key feature, before you start using any sanding abrasive, what I would always recommend is that you clean your panel, thoroughly clean your panel. And this goes with anything that any work you're gonna do on any car. Clean that panel, get rid of any contamination on that. By doing that, you are gonna prolong the life of your pads. So really simple tip, just like a tech tip there, make sure your panels are always super clean before you start sanding. So I'm gonna just put on a little dust mask just here. Normally I would recommend you use a proper filtered mask, but just for this so that you can hear me and we're working in a small area, I've just got a little, one of these, we've all seen them sort of COVID masks. So I'm gonna go for the green, which is the one I'd use. So this would be my, after I've primed, getting the panel ready for paint. So a lot of you will probably, this is how you would key up a panel. Sort of in straight lines and leave it like that. Now, if that's how you've done it, then yes, when you come to paint, especially silvers, let that dry off, you are going to see your scratch marks. So what I would suggest that you do is, and we'll do it, change it over. So let's just mask that up. The way that I would recommend you sand with this is you really need to do it. Don't be afraid of going over and over. Get a really good sand in there. Make sure you cover everything, you know. Spin it around, turn it around, go. Obviously I'm working in a slightly smaller area here, so it's a little bit harder, but when I show you the demos I've done already, and just by doing this, you dull all the area, you create a uniformity to the way you've sanded. Right, that should be enough. Let's dry that off. So I can see here, and hopefully you can see in that film, if I try and zoom you in a little bit, just bear with me. I'll take you off the tripod. So you should be able to see now it's coarser. You've got the sanding lines in there. Same sanding block, but you've got sanding lines. And here, you've got a really nice matte keyed finish. So I'm going to take this off the tripod now and bring you in so you can actually see this a lot better. Now, and you can see the ideal way to prep it. So I went a little bit harder here, went all the way around, sort of changed my angles, didn't just go backwards and forwards, went up and down, circular motion, and it's given me that better finish. And so that is, you're unlikely to see any of your sanding or prep marks when you come in, especially with lighter colors, by doing it like that. So let's take you in and show you what we've got. So here we are. Now you can see, as I zoom in a little bit closer, what I meant by those prep marks. And that's where a lot of you, I think, are struggling. But if you go to the section above, where I worked a little bit longer, a little bit harder, changed my angles, you don't have those prep marks. You have a much nicer, flatter, matter finish. And that is going to give you a better end result when you come to painting. So let's see this little demo I've done here using the 3 pads. We've got the brown, the green, and the purple. So the brown, I think, is at 320. You can use it for getting everything you need to do sort of before you come to priming. And then it provides a great key for when you prime. And obviously when the pad gets a little bit tired and you're moving up to the 500 grit, you can use it for sanding after you've primed. The 600, you can go straight in for priming and panel prep. Ideally for dark colors. If you're not confident with using this, the more confident you become with using it, you can use it on lighter colors. You've then got the purple, which starts at 1000 to 1500, and that is for lighter colors and your fade out area. So let's have a quick zoom in, and hopefully you can see the coarseness of the sanding. So that's on the 320 to 500. And then as I come along to the 600 to 1000, you should see that gets a lot finer. It's going to give you a much nicer key for your panel ready for paint. And then you've got your even finer finish with the purple, which is 1000 to 1500. So a really, hopefully a simple explanation, but with some good tips to be able to let you sort of try these out, see if you like them. I think they're really useful. I think they have a great part within our industry, especially on areas where you need to get around, like I said earlier, contours, shapes, and bumpers, where you want to really create a good key. I like them. I have great finishes with them. And all I can say is give them a go, see what you think. Okay, hope you found that useful. Yeah, like everything, if you have any questions about anything that I posted here, you're always welcome to share them. If you have a viewpoint, please share it, because your viewpoint is just as justified as anybody else's. So please do not hesitate to share that. And check out my other videos and give me a follow on Instagram @DamageUndone. Thank you.